Hello everyone, this is Mehak Upadhyay, a legal internet Lexis and company. Welcome back to our channel. Today's topic of discussion is treaties under international law. This video will be in two parts because it will be a lengthy if I cover all the aspects of a treaty under international law in one video. So I'll start with the definition of treaty, then I'll go with the codification of treaties or under what code it lies, and then I'll discuss about kinds of treaties, and then I'll discuss about how a treaty is formed. I'll try to cover the formation of treaties in this lecture, in this video. Otherwise, the next part would cover the formation of treaties, reservation of treaties, and treaties to the third party. So I'll start with what is a treaty. A treaty, similar to an agreement, it is similar to a contract under Indian Contract Act. It is an agreement between two or more states at international level, maybe on some specified issue, maybe on some general issue, maybe on some for some humanitarian purpose. So it's simply an agreement between two or more states. For example, we have NATO. It's a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's a treaty which is in collaboration, which is the collaboration of North Atlantic countries. Where the treaty is defined. Treaty is defined under Vienna Convention on Law of Treaties. It's under Article 2 of Vienna Convention. It said it is an international agreement between two or more states in written form governed by the international law. So simply, as we know, the subject matter of international law is are states. Primary subjects are states. So treaty is the agreement between the subjects of the international law. So treaty can be defined or can be classified in two ways. First is law making treaties, then other one is treaty contract. What is law making treaty? Law making treaty, a treaty which gives rise, or treaty which enforces a general law, a general principle all over the states. These treaties have actually general applications. These treaties are not these treaties are not for binding only the parties signing it, but it's for general purpose. It is applicable to all the states all over the world, all over the present, whoever are present actually. For example, we have UN, United Nations Organization. It was under a general treaty because it covers all the states. All the states signed that treaty, and some or those who have not signed even. All are governed. All are under the control of UNO. Then we have treaty contract. Treaty contract generally binds only those parties who signed it. They are not meant to be forced on other who haven't signed this treaty. They are generally form of a contract and are based on for a specified purpose. For example, we have Kartarpur corridor agreement between this India and Pakistan. It was between these two only, and was for the purpose of that Gurudwara that's situated in Kartarpur of Pakistan, where Indians were not have access to it. So that was an agreement, and it is a form of treaty contract. So it will be applicable only, it will be enforced, or it will be binding on only India and Pakistan, and have nothing to do with any of them, and nothing to do with any other state. Fine. Then we have obligation force. Many jurists say that international law is not a true law, or is not a law in true sense. It is a weak law, but it is a true law. But this opinion that international law is not a true law can be refuted by the force by the sanction by enforcing sanctions. Say the enforcement of sanctions when any state failed to comply with the treaty's norms. So it shows the true nature of international law. How these obligations are, what these obligations are, or from where they arise. It is imbibed in a, it is imbibed in a maxim, or it can be said by through a maxim that pacta sunt servanda. It means the treaties signed by the parties are are to oblige them with it. They cannot refuse to comply with them, and on refusing they'll be it will be enforced by sanctions. Sanctions could be by threat, it could be by anything, provided that would that that provided that way of enforcing sanction won't be disturbing the peace of the nations. Okay, so now we have how the treaties are formed. How these treaties are formed. These treaties have actually there's no such rocket science or straight jacket formula. There's this and those are the steps that are to be followed while forming a treaty. But still we have a few points that is include that are generally followed while forming a treaty. So first is accreditation. In accreditation, what happened is all the diplomats, all the representatives of states who are to sign that treaty collect um, you, collect each collect them come meet at a certain place, meet together. They do a series of negotiations, and there's a series of negotiations on the terms and conditions of the treaties be, between these contracting parties. Then we have adoption. Adoption is to signing the treaty, to accepting the provisions of a treaty. It can be done by either directly signing on the spot, means by signing they say that yes I am now from the day now I am bound by this treaty, and I won't be disobeying. I won't be disobeying any of the norms or provisions of the treaty. Or they have a process of ratification. Well, now what is this ratification? Ratification means they can put the treaty on hold. They can put the treaty on hold for discussion in their parliaments, or in their for their domestic discussions. For after the discussion, they then sign the treaty, and we say they have ratified it. They are the members of the treaty on the day it has been signed by other members, but they ratified it on a later date. They signed it on later date. This is the ratification. Then we have accession or adhesion. Assume that there are 50 members who signed the treaty when all on one day, and after 1 or 2 years a few other members say that we want to sign it as well. So the process by way the mechanism they followed by adding those 5 to 6 members after 2 years would be the process of accession or adhesion. So it is generally accession terms to signing the treaty after some time, not on the day when all the parties signed it. It differs from ratification because the state ratifying the treaty after later time was the member of signing members on the day of it was actually formed. Then we have registered and publication. It was the very important step, because once it is signed, to invoke it for the future use when some issue arises, it needs to be registered and it needs to be published before the UNO and the United Nations organizations. That under document, it needs to be in written form before him, because they won't be able to invoke if in the case if it was not registered before it. So that's all till the formation. So in this video I have defined the treaty, I discuss its kinds, and discuss how the treaty is formed, and what are the and how this obligation of treaty arises. In next video I'll be discussing some more aspects of treaty. Thank you. Do like, share and comment the video. Thank you.